And there is a watchdog group that I want to talk about with Sean Savett, former National Security Council spokesperson for the Biden administration. Sean, welcome to the show. So there's that watchdog group. It's suing Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, and others, saying that they violated Federal Records Act. There's a hearing set for the top of the hour with Judge James Boasberg that Kelly was just speaking about. As we know, he also blocked President Trump's deportation to El Salvador. What should we expect when that hearing begins in less than an hour?
Sure. Well, thank you for having me on. I think the Trump administration lawyers are going to face serious questions about whether or not they did conduct government business on personal devices, whether or not they were evading government records laws. For example, the Presidential Records Act governs that all business conducted in the White House has to be done on archivable government email servers. And if you were using an app like Signal, you were supposed to be screenshotting any government business and immediately emailing it to your personal email address in order for it to be preserved to go to the National Archives. So if this was indeed being conducted on personal devices, which it seems to be incredibly likely, and there was a disappearing messaging feature, so these messages would be auto-deleted within a few hours, it seems very likely that they were violating the law, which is what we're going to learn more about in this hearing.
President Trump posted on Truth Social this morning about Judge Boasberg. This is what he said. Kelly read this as well. It's disgraceful that judge in quotes, Boasberg, has been given another Trump case, saying that it's statistically impossible, saying there's no way for a Republican to win, especially a Trump Republican, in Judge Boasberg's courtroom. What do you say to that, Sean?
Seems pretty clear that he's lowering expectations and that he's expecting to lose in court as well. I mean, it's pretty rare that you find the coach or a player on the team is already saying it's rigged before the game actually starts. You don't do that if you think you're going to win. You do that if you think that your team likely violated the law and you are going to be, found liable in the court. So it seems like he's lowering expectations here, and that's for pretty good reason, because they conducted almost certainly government business, and not only just government business, but sensitive, classified information was shared on personal devices that could have endangered U.S. troops, could have endangered the success of the mission. So this is incredibly serious, not only because they were misusing their own personal devices to conduct government business, but because of the possibility that had an adversary compromised the phones of any of the 19 individuals or so on this group chat and then alerted the Houthis that they were about to be bombed, well, not only could those targets have gone to ground and escaped justice, but we also could have seen the Houthis try to use their very capable anti-aircraft systems to try to shoot down U.S. fighter pilots. And that would have been a horrific scenario and a very different conversation we'd be having as a result. So we are very lucky that that did not happen. But we should all be concerned, because if the Trump team is using Signal for their own, conversations, for sensitive conversations that should be held on government devices, well, then it begs the question, could this happen again? And will we be so lucky next time?
Yeah, I think that's the concern if this information fell in enemy hands. The White House, however, is denying any war plans or any confidential material was discussed in that thread. Here's what White House Press Secretary Carol Levine said. I'll talk to you on the other side, Sean.
We have never denied that this was a mistake, and the National Security Advisor took responsibility for that. And we have said we are making changes. We are looking into the matter to ensure it can never happen again.
She said Mike Waltz took responsibility. We heard the president a moment ago in Kelly's report. He says he's standing by Waltz. What's your reaction?
Well, that's the first time I've heard the White House even come close to admitting that they made a mistake. But the fact of the matter is, this information should not have been shared on a personal device in an unclassified setting. You know, when I worked at the White House, we did about 9 rounds of airstrikes against the Houthis. Every single time, TikToks like this were held on classified government email systems and servers. And the only way to view that kind of TikTok was to log into your high-side computer, your classified computer, to view the exact timing of how the operational details of a mission could take place. Because again, you don't want an adversary to know what's about to happen to them. And so two things are either happening here. One, they're lying about the fact that it was classified information, or two, they don't think that kind of information should be classified, which is mind-boggling and really begs the question, why wouldn't the Trump White House want to protect our service members and preserve the element of surprise before any military action is undertaken? So that is an important question I think Caroline Levitt needs to answer.
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.